especially when it comes to fitness content. If you cannot follow a fitness influencer or a health and wellness influencer and think that everything they post and share is centered and catered to you, no, because when it comes to blood types, body types, your energy level, your activity level, all those things, everything has to be factored in order to make sure whatever program you're doing actually works. Today, we're talking about something that impacts nearly all of us daily: the intersection of mental health and social media. Whether you're scrolling through inspiration or drowning in negativity, your digital diet affects your brain chemistry and mental well being more than you realize. In this episode, we'll explore how social media alters your neurochemistry, decode those overused mental health buzzwords, and most importantly, provide you with 5 practical strategies to transform your social media experiences from depleting to energizing. So, if you've ever wondered why certain content leaves you feeling drained while other posts lift you up, and if you're simply looking to create a healthier relationship with your digital platforms, this episode is for you. Let's dive in and start adjusting your approach to social media. Welcome to Adjusting. Welcome to Adjusting, a safe space for candid conversations about mental health and well being with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Whether you're recovering from trauma, redefining your purpose, managing mental health, or simply craving more authenticity, this show is for you. I hope something resonates with you and helps you on your own personal journey. So sit back, relax, and let's start adjusting. And we are back to season 2, episode 5 of Adjusting with your host, Justin G. Nelson. You all, this episode is going to be fun, okay? It's not going to be as serious and deep as the other episodes. We're going to talk about something light, okay? We're going to talk about adjusting your platform as it relates to social media. Now, I've been working in social media marketing now for going on 5 years. Oh my God, I've been a business owner for 5 years. And I can say it is some good, some bad, and some ugly sides of social media, okay? But before we get too far into the episode, I want to thank again TJ for editing my podcast, and make sure you support him with his podcast, Tea with TJ. If you want to connect with my other brands, you can. I have a vegan lifestyle brand called Earthy and Cultured. My branding and marketing company, Type J Marketing. My men's fashion page is coming back soon. Once this weight drops off, it's coming back. So that is The Detailed Gentleman. And then you can follow me in my creative journey as a performer and multi-hyphenate living in New York with my page, Justin G. Nelson. Okay. I'm hoping that one day Canva can sponsor this, because I use Canva for everything, making my graphics, parts of my intro video, my lower thirds, the logo, everything is in Canva. So Canva, if you ever stumble upon this video, thank you. Thank you for everything you do. I've been with you for 13 years. We're committed. Great. Now I want to invite you to a breathing exercise just so we can center ourselves and open our brain, our heart, our energy, and our mind to receive this information, because you are going to leave inspired. You're going to leave with a fresh take on social media. All right. So if you're driving, focus. Thank you. Focus on the road. If you're not, if you're home and you have a second to just step away from the kids, or put your phone down, put your headphones in to keep listening, I invite you to plant your feet on the ground, relax your thighs, relax your knees, okay? Relax your stomach. Take a deep breath in just to clear out everything. Relax your heart, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Kind of tug at your ear. Relax your eyebrows. Relax your forehead, okay? And take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. And out. 1, 2, 3. One more time. One more time. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3. And out. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right. So I just want to jump right in with section 1, addressing the brain and social media connection. All right. So let's talk about dopamine. Dopamine has become a big term, quote unquote, tossed around on social media. People are always looking for a dopamine kick or something about serotonin or all these things. So we're going to talk about these things because I am tired of buzzwords or people just using words that they hear that sound fancy or very professional. And they're simple words. They are very simple and basic words. So dopamine, that feeling, that feel good chemical feeling that makes you seek out pleasure. It's basically our brain's way of saying, "Hey, that felt good. Let's do it again." And when you get notifications, our brain's like, "Yes, this is something good." Now, sometimes it's people trolling or it's a little bot. Okay, if you live in New York, you're always going to get that, "Hey, can I post it here?" Or "While you're in New York," like that's like a dopamine anti-dopamine because it's like fake, but it was a notification. So those are things that make you feel good. And when you post something and the likes start coming in, the shares start coming in, people text you and say, "I love that podcast episode." Yeah. Those things, those are like the dopamine kicks. There's that whatever makes you feel good. That's dopamine. The tricky part, okay, is that our phones are designed to give us these unpredictable dopamine hits, kind of like a slot machine. We never know when we'll get the next notification, so we keep checking. Case in point, I went to an audition the other day, my first audition of 2025, and baby, it was a good audition. Okay, one day I will tell the full story and who was in the room where it happened. Not, it wasn't Hamilton. It was not Hamilton. So I did not audition for Hamilton. Okay, great. But I was checking my email notifications as if I was waiting for some pregnancy results. Okay, I was swipe, swipe, swipe. And the dopamine, like I was really waiting, but like I have conditioned myself to handle rejection in a much better way, or else I would not be recording this episode today. Okay, I'll be adjusting my pillow and dealing with depression. That's what this episode would have been about from my bed. But no. Have you ever reached for your phone without thinking about it? That's your brain looking for a dopamine fix. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, X, all those platforms. They give us a good dopamine fix. Now, serotonin is different, okay? It's more about feeling satisfied and content with your life. It helps regulate your mood and gives you that sense of enoughness. When you're scrolling through perfectly curated vacation photos or seeing everyone's highlight reels, your serotonin takes a hit because suddenly our brain is saying, "Why don't I have that?" The comparison trap. That is serotonin, okay? I find it fascinating that our brains weren't designed to compare ourselves to thousands of people every day. In small communities, we might compare ourselves to a few dozen people at most, like the people around us, people at work, people you see at auditions, other families, like the people in our vicinity. Now, thanks to social media, we're comparing ourselves to celebrities and influencers and people from high school who always seem to be on vacation. How do y'all afford it? Scammers. Okay. We're comparing ourselves to scammers because I'm going to leave it alone, but some of y'all some scammers. Have you noticed how you sometimes feel worse after scrolling, even though nothing in your actual life changed? That's often a serotonin dip from all the comparison. Now, I will say, when it comes to health and wellness and the fitness influencer, baby, my serotonin drops. Okay, because I'm like, oh, that could be me. I should be doing this. And I know that I am in control and I have the power to just do it. But sometimes the brain and the feet don't move together. Okay, sometimes the bank account is giving, "You finna do what this week? We not meal prepping. We are behind on bills." Okay. And even though I work 4 jobs, that still ain't enough to take care of the bills, running this podcast, auditions, meal prepping. Like I need a sugar parental at this point. I need a glucose guardian to safely and comfortably live in these New York City streets. But have you ever noticed how differently you feel after watching inspiring content versus diving into political comment? Or if you're on TikTok, you probably follow the influencer Aaron Parnas. He's always like breaking news. Bruh, breaking news. Just take a break. And he gets on us. He's always saying, yeah, I know y'all are tired of hearing this. But I appreciate you, Aaron, if you ever listen to this podcast. I really appreciate you making time to update us. It is exhausting, and I know you are tired of it because of that man in office, but we appreciate you. But it's like your brain is an all you can eat buffet when it comes to social media content. But instead of nutritious food, some of the options are just empty calories, okay, the dessert bar or the wine bar, or just slightly toxic. And I think that is where the social media algorithm kind of plays with our dopamine and serotonin levels because it gives us like everything we want. It's like, yeah, a notification here, toxic content here. We're going to talk about that word toxic too. But with this approach, we kind of shift over to content type and mental impact. It's fascinating how different types of content actually change how our brain functions. When you consume inspiring content, maybe it's someone sharing their journey through hardships or beautiful artwork, your brain is like, I love this. It's like happy feelings, it's butterflies, it's rainbows. It's just something that makes you feel good. I've noticed with me after watching like Meghan Markle, what's the name of her show? Not As Ever, that's the name of her company, With Love Megan. Like I felt good. Or when I'm watching food content and people are making nutritious meals, I'm like, yes. Or interior design, that makes me feel good. But then we get on these like rants of my baby daddy did this, or my best friend did this, or even just simple as somebody got jobbed. I'm like, you know what? Y'all really can mess up a brother's brain cells. I ain't want to see this, but the algorithm, if I talk about it, I'm pretty sure once I finish recording this episode, I'm gonna open my phone, I'm gonna see somebody fighting. Typical. But I've noticed in my own life that after watching videos that make me feel inspired, I actually have more mental energy. I'm more inspired. I'm more inclined to pull out my trusty, dusty notebook and start jotting down ideas and concepts because I feel that we all are placed here for a reason. And sometimes we need inspiration, sometimes from social media, to really figure out our next step. We don't know it all, but there's someone out there doing something that you want to do, so you can draw inspiration from them. This is the good side of social media. Draw inspiration from them. It's like, yes, okay, they got the sauce. They are the blueprint. Case in point, Tabitha Brown. I consider her a blueprint for me when it comes to being a multi hyphenate. Our brains are like sponges. They absorb the emotional tone of what we're consuming. Have you ever watched a scary movie, Sinners, and then felt jumpy hours afterwards? Now, some of y'all just scared, okay? Some of y'all, you can hear the floor creak. You're just like, someone's finna kill me. No, your building just old, bro. It ain't somebody trying to kill you. You think people got time to actually find you and do something to you? Social media works the same way, but we don't always make the connection between how we feel and what we just consumed. Think about how different your day feels when you start it by reading uplifting content or doing your affirmations or journaling or listening to uplifting video or something. Like there are a lot of people who do uplifting content, and I tend to try to save them to make it a part of my morning routine. But you start with something positive and uplifting versus diving straight into world problems or workplace drama or checking that email as soon as you wake up and realized that someone called out sick and now you have to work more hours. It's just Same brain, totally different experiences just based on what you feel. Now, in a previous episode, we talked about energy and adjusting your energy based off what you consume, who you're around, and those things. Remember, social media is one of the biggest energy exchanges in our daily lives, but we rarely think about it that way. I like to think about my attention as a form of currency, okay? Every time I give my attention to something on social media, I am spending that currency. We talked about the energy exchange. Some content gives me a good ROI, return on investment. I feel energized, inspired, motivated, pull out my little book, ready to work. Okay. Other content, I'm just like, baby, why did I open this app? Like, I'll toss my phone across the bed or the couch and say, you know what? I'm going to block them. And I want to just say right now, there's this influencer who went viral on social media for their morning routine at allegedly 3:30 a.m. Okay, and they have their Saratoga water, which I love. By the way, I love Saratoga water. Y'all want to sponsor me too because I love your water. Anyway, they would open the water. They would pour it in a bowl with some ice and put a little lemon in there, and they would dunk their head in there as if to give them like a boost of energy, like shock their body and wake them up. And then allegedly, they would go and work out at 4 o'clock in the morning. They would go for a dive in the pool. They would have a meeting. They would do all these things. You know what that did? Pissed me off. You know what I did? I blocked them because I don't need that fake energy in my life. Now, was it a PR stunt? Was it them doing some type of shock value to garner views and to get brand endorsements? Absolutely. Am I mad at that? No. Did their video piss me off? It did. It did. And someone called me a hater. I'm sorry. What am I hating on? Like, I'm confused because I could get the same water. I could wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I could put my head in water with lemon. I could go swimming even though I don't know how to swim. I could have a meeting at 5 a.m., but do I want to? No. That is not my MO. That is not my content. And that is not my platform and the things I want to put out. Okay, so let me do me. I'm going to block him, and I did. Have you ever closed the app and then realized you can't even remember what you just spent the last 30 minutes looking at? That's what I call an attention deficit. Not in the ADHD sense, but in the sense that you spent attention and got nothing valuable in return. Again, that is called attention deficit. We're still in this energy currency. So we've talked about the energy connection and spending currency, ROI, getting something good back, and then attention deficit. One thing I've started doing and asking myself is, do I feel lighter or do I feel heavier? Do I feel inspired or do I feel drained? Do I feel seen or do I feel victimized? Okay, those are things that I can take away and look at when I'm consuming content that takes up my energy. The fascinating thing is that these digital interactions leave what researchers call attention residue. We're getting some good terms this episode. They stay with us even after we put the phone down. That's why sometimes you might feel slightly anxious or unsettled and not even realize it's because of something you saw online an hour ago. So I'm just saying, watch who you consume. Block these people. They don't know you blocked them. Okay. Moving on. Section 2. We're talking about adjusting the landscape of mental health content. Now, I want to just briefly shout out all my mental health experts on social media who are actively doing the work, who are taking the time to strategically and professionally break apart a lot of content that is being spewed out from a very surface level point of view. Also, I want to shout out the content creators and professionals who break down very, how can I say this from a professional place? There was an episode on a podcast, and I do not like to talk about like trending things on social media on this platform, but this episode pissed me off. Okay. There was a pastor and his wife that talked about their growing up and how they got to know each other. And she mentioned that he basically groomed her and told her she was worthless and made her really just a peasant, you know? She would prep all of his clothes and he would go out for the weekend and do things with other women. And they have a church. They have a whole church. And a lot of the members from the church was just like, I started to notice that things were off. Even now, even today. Now, they said all this stuff happened when they were kids. And this was just them sharing how God has shaped and molded them. And baby, listen. I've been in the church since I was 7 years old. Okay, I was dipped when I was 11. Ain't no way in hell, cause it wouldn't happen. Ain't no way in hell you gonna tell me God said that to you. So I didn't respond to the video. A professional therapist and mental health expert politely told them, "You're wrong." Okay. And I'll leave it at that. So thank you to those experts who really get in the nitty gritty and into these spaces on social media and in a way set the record straight for a lot of things. Okay. Have you noticed how some creators make you feel understood and hopeful while others make you feel more broken or like you need their specific solution? That's often a key difference between helpful versus not helpful content. Okay. So this is the part of the episode that I really, really wanted to talk about. Let's talk about these mental health buzzwords that are blowing up everywhere. Safe space. Now, this term used to have specific meaning in therapeutic settings, a place free from judgment where you can express yourself authentically. Now it's used as a marketing tool to make people feel seen, quote unquote. And they're using it in skincare and online places. Y'all using these things as a marketing tool to get people to spend their money. They ain't nothing safe. Okay, sorry. Clearly, that pissed me off. I've used that word a lot this episode. I am so sorry. Okay, the second thing, that's the term narcissism. Okay, might be the most overused psychological term in history. It's gone from describing a rare clinical condition to being labeled as anyone who is self centered and doesn't treat us well. Okay. The oversimplification actually makes it harder for people dealing with actual narcissistic abuse to be taken seriously. So let's find another way to explain and identify and label these people. I wanted to say motherfuckers, but I didn't say it. I want to say these people because I do know some narcissistic people who will not take the time to go to therapy and get properly diagnosed. I'm not a licensed professional, so I cannot tell them. What I can do is set a boundary. How about holding space? Okay, because apparently we're holding space for lyrics now, defying gravity. Originally, this meant being fully present with someone's emotions without trying to fix or change them now. It's thrown around in captions or selfies or used to justify all kinds of behavior. I'm holding space for your bad behavior, or I'm holding space for the fact that you are chronically late all the time. And I'm giving you grace because I understand we got to find another way, y'all. And don't forget self-care. 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 I tried to read this book called Radical Self-Care. I got through the first chapter, and that I think by far in my reading journey, that's the only book I didn't. No, it was two of them. It was two. But that was the first book I DNF'd. And I was really happy to read the book because I was trying to get a better grasp on self-care because we've commercialized that as well. We talk about self-care being, I'm going to the salon. baby, you needed a deep condition. Like, ain't nothing self-caring about that. Now, I can see if you've been in a serious season of depression and you really couldn't bring yourself to wash your hair, maybe that's self-care. That's also like hygiene, you know? I went to get a manicure and pedicure a couple of weeks ago, and everyone was just like, yeah, self-care. No, baby, I had claws. Okay. I was Wolverine by night. I needed that. There was no self-care in that. That was me being trifling. Self-care is more like setting a boundary. It is prioritizing yourself in spaces and places where you feel triggered or your nervous system is reacting in a fight, flight, fawn, or freeze mode. Y'all, that I swear I use those words in every episode because I really want you all to understand how your body and your nervous system responds in certain situations. That is self-care. Drinking a glass of wine, you just thirsty, all right? And I think these terms get misused because they give us languages for experiences that feel complex. The problem comes when we start diagnosing everyone in our lives based off TikTok videos we've watched, and when companies co opt these terms to sell us stuff we don't need, or your favorite influencer has gone on ChatGPT and figured out ways to manipulate the system and generate a course or a product for you to feel in order to break these stigmas. Capitalism. Now, I will go a little deeper because I got time. These are social media mental health dictionary terms that are often misused. Number one, trauma. Trauma. Online, this gets applied to any negative experiences, but clinically, it refers to events that overwhelm our ability to cope and cause lasting distress. My father passing, trauma. Okay. You breaking up with your boyfriend because you cheated, life. That's two different things, all right? Triggered originally described specific PTSD response where something activates a trauma response. Now, it's used to mean slightly annoyed or disagreeing with something. Now, I will say I use the term triggered jokingly or sarcastically when I say I'm triggered or I'm overstimulated, so I'm triggered. You know, I get it. I get it. So I'm going to give you grace on that one. Gaslighting. This term comes from a specific form of psychological manipulation where someone makes you question your reality. Now, it's often used to describe any disagreement or dishonesty. Wow. Toxic. While useful for describing genuinely harmful relationship, this label gets slapped on anyone who makes a mistake or behaves imperfectly. You're being toxic. It's toxic. I don't like it's toxic. Boundaries. A crucial concept about communicating your limits, but often misused as a way to control others' behavior rather than manage your own responses. And then I'm not going to go through all of them, but anxiety is another one, depression, OCD, codependency, and disassociation. What's concerning is how these terms get thrown around in ways that can both trivialize serious conditions or pathologize normal human experiences. It's like we've developed this whole language of psychological terms without the nuance needed to use them responsibly. And now we're going to talk about the discernment toolkit. Okay. Now, my friend Ebony, I was talking to her about this episode. It came to me while I was walking down the street, and she said, please mention how we need to use discernment when it comes to who we follow and what we consume. Okay. Now, this is both us being churchy because, you know, we always talk about in the Bible, you got to use discernment and all these things. All right. Developing discernment about mental health content is like developing a taste for good coffee. Now, I know I'm a basic guy when it comes to coffee. I do cold brew and cold brew only, but baby, there's a difference between a Colombian cold brew and an Ethiopian cold brew. Okay, like it's just something about the profile and the notes in it. You either get a little black cherry, you get some coffee, I mean some chocolate, sorry, and you get like other notes that really make it different. Once you know what quality looks like, you can spot the instant stuff a mile away. Mm, mm. Once you know what quality coffee looks like, you can spot instant coffee a mile away. One question I always ask myself, is this person or account trying to make me feel like they have all the answers? Because if they are, that's actually a red flag. Good mental health professionals acknowledge the complexity and uniqueness of each person's situation, especially when it comes to fitness content. If you cannot follow a fitness influencer or a health and wellness influencer and think that everything they post and share is centered and catered to you, no, because when it comes to blood types, body types, your energy level, your activity level, all those things, everything has to be factored in order to make sure whatever program you're doing actually works. So that's one reason I do not support a lot of online programs. They don't always work for everybody. I ain't gonna call this person out because if they come from me, your wigs will be burned. Okay. Another clue is whether they're speaking in absolutes. Anyone saying all people with anxiety need to, or the only way to heal from trauma is probably isn't providing nuanced, helpful content. They're just generalizing everything to try to put everyone in the same box. Baby, no. That's not how life works. Some of y'all need to be in a paper bag and not a box. Pay attention to how content makes you feel. Does it empower you to understand yourself better? Or does it make you feel more confused, inadequate, or dependent on their specific approach? It's also worth noticing if someone's entire feed is focused on identifying problems without offering constructive ways forward. Scammers. Sometimes accounts can keep us stuck in victim mentality rather than helping us grow. Sometimes accounts can try to generate content. This is somebody who works in social media marketing. They will really pry on the emotional aspect of content to make them feel like they are your one-stop shop for everything and you can trust them. But I'm see what they do. I'm gonna tell you what they do. Okay. And if you're a content creator, somebody looking to make content, this is for you. They usually Google or use a platform to generate a list of the top 10 questions that are being asked. Okay. And then they take those and generate content around them so that it pushes them up in the search engine. From there, they are able to get you into their like, oh yeah, they got all the answers. They don't know what they're talking about. Don't piss me off. That's number 4. All right, and section 3, aligning your social media with your values. So here we're talking about your social media feed as a reflection of yourself. Your social media feed is like a mirror. It reflects back who you are, but it's also shaping who you become. What you repeatedly consume starts to influence how you think and feel about yourself in the world. This is getting deep. I'm sorry. I've noticed something interesting. We often claim to value certain things in life, like creativity, deep connections, or personal growth, but then our actual social media habits don't align with those values at all. We live in a double life. We say we care about mental health, but follow accounts that make us feel like shit or feel inadequate. Now, this is where I say do like a social media audit, not a detox, an audit. Some of y'all are detoxing from accounts that you can just unfollow or you can block. Instagram has a feature where you can say, I don't want to see this. Use it. It's what it's there for. The algorithms are designed to keep you engaged, not to make you happy or healthy. They don't care about that. They don't care if the content aligns with your deeper values. They just care that you keep scrolling. And then those ads pop up, and then you say, I want to buy this. You don't need that. Save your money. That means the responsibility for creating a feed that actually serves you falls on your shoulders. Ask yourself, if someone looked at the accounts I followed, what would they think I value most? Is it accurate? Is it who I want to be? Okay. I ain't gonna say nothing else about that. I'm gonna move on to part two of future self alignment. Now, I love the concept of future you. I talked about it with my reader and how, with the inner child, we talk about that, but then like your future self, your highest self, the person you're becoming. Every piece of content you consume is either moving you toward the future you or away from it. Try this quick exercise. Not today, some other time. Okay, finish the episode though. But close your eyes for a moment and envision the person you want to be in 3 to 5 years. Not just career wise, but professionally, personally, financially, health wise, in terms of your character, all that. Now, does your social media content or the current content you're consuming support the vision, or does it undermine it? When I do this exercise, I do it whenever I'm having like a monthly mood swing. Okay, so in about 3 days, I tend to unfollow a lot of people, celebrities included, because I'm realizing that it's not inspiring anymore. It's making me depressed. Okay, and I do the same on all platforms: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. Okay, if I see you are posting about a new job every 2 months, are you a scammer? Okay, I really think people do be scamming on LinkedIn. The cool thing about identifying content pillars. Now, content pillars are things, if you are a content creator, it's the things you set your content around. So for me, like with this podcast, is educational, inspirational, entertaining. Like those are some of the major or the main most popular content pillars. The cool thing about identifying content pillars that align with your values is that over time, they start to compound. Following people who embody the qualities you want to develop actually helps you develop those qualities faster. So if you want to be financially sound, if you want to, I don't want to say live a better life, but have more structure, and you follow people who have the structure, who have a clear morning routine, who are good with money, who are good with communicating, who have healthy relationship that they, I don't know about that. Everything people post is not always genuine. Some things are curated for the feed, and behind the scenes, they going through their own personal hell. I don't judge them. I just pray for them. But here are 5 ways. The 5 main ways to make social media good again. This is not on a hat, okay? Number 1, intentional curation. Think of yourself as the creator of your own personal museum of influence. What deserves wall space in your mind? Start with a 15-minute unfollow session. Okay, scroll. If you want to like really find out how to unfollow me real quick, I'll let you know. But go through the accounts asking, does this add value? Does it make me feel good? Does it align with who I want to be? If not, unfollow, mute, or block. Great. For every negative account you unfollow, find one positive alternative to follow, or just keep your follower to following ratio unbalanced. Remember that what you engage with shapes what you see more of. Be intentional about liking, commenting, and saving content that represents what you want to see more of. Number 2, setting healthy engagement boundaries. Okay. Boundaries aren't just for relationships with people, they're for your relationships with platforms too. Try setting specific times for checking social media rather than defaulting to whenever you're bored or uncomfortable. Maybe it's 3 10-minute check ins a day, or once in the morning, once in the evening, and not every 5 minutes you're checking social media, unless you have something like you're doing a giveaway or you are monitoring something. With me, I don't have the luxury sometimes because I work in social media and I manage 7 accounts. Okay, so I'm on there a lot. Physical boundaries matter too, though. What if your bedroom became a phone free zone? I don't have a TV in my bedroom because I don't want to consume like that before I go to bed. Now my phone is beside my bed. So maybe I'll try putting my phone in another room and see. But I do have PTSD, so I always keep my phone beside my bed. Sorry. Notice the emotional boundaries you need. Are you posting for connection or validation? Are you checking comments because you're curious or because you're seeking approval? I'm sending you a hug. Number 3, practicing critical consumption. Developing a pause between seeing something and believing it or sharing it is one of the most valuable skills in today's world. When content triggers a strong emotional reaction, that's your cue to slow down. Strong emotions, especially outrage, often bypass our critical thinking. Ask questions like, who benefits if I believe this? What might be missing from this story? A lot of things are clickbaity. Okay. I could edit this whole episode and leave out certain parts, and you just like, what is he talking about? I can use that tactic in order for you to like engage more and listen to things. Politics or political news do this often as a way to get people into it. So be critical about what you're consuming. Number 4, finding uplifting communities. The people you surround yourself with online influence your thinking just as much as the people you spend time with in person. So look for communities centered around creation rather than just consumption or criticism. And I'm human. I do love the nosy bystander sometimes I'm just like, girl, mind your business. Other times I'm just like, and then what? What happened next? It's just a human in me. Okay. Groups focus on making things tend to be more positive than focus on judging things. So people who are like doing things and positive and out there in these streets making a difference, those are the groups you want to be of instead of the people sitting at home in their bedroom judging everybody who is out there doing positive things. It don't make sense. Be the community member you wish to see. Be the change you wish to see. We used to talk about that in high school. But be the influencer or the content creator you want to see. Make sure your content is doing the good things. That is really making someone feel confident about themselves or them feeling seen in what you create. Okay, so this is to my influencers out there. Your engagement shapes the tone of the spaces you participate in. And number 5, platforms as tools, not destinations. Social media can be gone tomorrow, okay? Social media works best when we use it intentionally as a tool rather than defaulting to it as a destination whenever we're bored or uncomfortable. Read a book, sorry. Try defining a specific purpose for each platform. Maybe Instagram is for creative inspiration, Twitter/X for professional development. It used to be. So we'll say LinkedIn for professional development. Twitter and X is just for adult content and Real Housewives of Potomac reviews, period. And Facebook is for keeping up with your family. Threads is for like those fake deep thinkers. Everyone needs the space. Consider using the platform's own tools against them. Set time limits, turn off notifications. I have my notifications on Instagram turned off at 10 o'clock because that's when I'm in bed and I want to be asleep. I still be on there, but I don't get notifications for it. Remember that these tools are designed to be addictive. It's not a fair fight between your willpower and their design teams. You need systems and boundaries to win. So let's recap. Let's bring this all together. We've explored how social media affects our brain chemistry, unpacked those overused mental health terms, and I gave you 5 practical ways to transform your social media experience from depleting to energizing. Remember that small adjustments can lead to big changes over time. You don't need to overhaul your entire digital life today, okay? Pick just one of the 5 strategies we discussed. Maybe it's intentional curation or setting time boundaries, and focus on that for next week, okay? Or the next 2 weeks or the month. I don't know. I just don't want you to do a social media detox and feel like you're going to get off for 30 days and come back and it's going to be better. It's not. So that's why I'm not a fan of those. The point isn't to demonize social media, but to put it back in its proper place as a tool that serves you rather than something that consumes you. I'm working on my boundaries. I'm working on who I engage with, the type of content I put out more. Lately, I've been trying to do more health and wellness, the books I'm reading, the podcast, my audition journey, those things that inspire people, okay? Remember that adjusting is exactly that, a continuous process of small changes, not a one-time fix. Be patient with yourself as you create new habits. So let me know how these strategies are working, if you're going to apply them, which one of the 5 practical tools you're going to implement. Remember that the most important adjustment you can make is aligning your digital life with your real life values. When these two are in harmony, technology becomes a powerful tool for growth rather than a drain on your mental well-being. This is Justin from Adjusting Podcast, and I hope something from this episode really inspires you to look at social media in a different way, and remember that you are in control of your platform. Until next time, bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.